is about to end. But let me tell you a story about the road trip I had from Maumere to Ende Regency. It's gonna be magical.
This episode, we're going to the southern side of Maumere and we'll do it the best way possible. Road trip! Come see the beauty! Only on See Indonesia! Woohoo! Only on See Indonesia.
We're gonna start the journey with something solemn. Only 30 minutes from Maumere, we can visit a beautiful small praying garden with a gigantic Mother Mary statue overlooking the north of the Flores Sea to the south of Savu Sea. Raised 18 meters tall from the ground, the 6-ton copper-clad statue was constructed in 2005, located at the peak of the 500 meters of the Keri Hill, Nilo Village. Nilo in Sika language means light, such a fitting location for the statue to stand. On the back, there's a small charming chapel surrounded by a bougainville garden. The chapel is called Chapel of Mother Mary. The statue was constructed by the Passionists and Catholics in Sika. The Passionists, or the Congregation of the Passion of the Jesus Christ, entered Indonesia in 1946. It was Dutch missionaries that spread the religion. Meanwhile, the Passionists exist in Maumere in the 1990s, with Nilo as the center of the teaching. The religious journey will continue, and we'll do it in style. We're going further south through the scenic route of Trans Flores that stretches 664 kilometers from the west of Flores, Labuan Bajo, to the east side, Larantuka. Even though it took more than an hour from Nilo Village to Sika Regency, the sight won't get you bored. Then I arrive at one of the oldest churches in Indonesia, the St. Ignatius Loyola Church, located in between a stunning hill and a coastal line. The church has been around for more than 100 years old. It was established in 1893 by a Portuguese priest, J.F. Engbel Darmon Davil, with the help by the King of Sika, Mbako Jimenez da Silva. The architect was Pastor Antonius Jigman, who also designed Jakarta's cathedral. Catholicism in Sika has been existing since the 17th century and continued to grow all over East Nusa Tenggara. As a matter of fact, East Nusa Tenggara is the only province in Indonesia where Catholicism is the majority, around 55% of its population. The church wouldn't exist though without religion, so I was curious about how Catholicism entered Sika in the first place. Luckily, I met Mr. Gregorius Tamela, the sexton of the church. According to him, it was Don Alexius Alesu Jimenez da Silva that brought Catholicism to Sika. He had an extensive journey to the Portuguese merchant base at Malacca after he had an existential crisis. He pondered the inevitable, why our life must end with death.
Dia diketemukan dengan gubernur jenderal waktu itu, yang orang Portugis namanya Jogo Gorila, dan dia menyampaikan dia punya maksud dan tujuan. Dia bertanya apakah ada tempat, kampung, kota, pulau, dan lain sebagainya manusia lahir dan hidup terus. Jawaban dia peroleh bahwa manusia lahir, hidup, dan pasti akan mati. Gubernur Jenderal dia menambahkan, tetapi setelah kematian di dunia ini, manusia akan hidup terus, tidak mati lagi. Dan kalau mau kehidupan setelah kematian di dunia ini, kamu mau berbahagia, maka kamu belajar iman Katolik.
Long story short, Don Alexius Alesu Jimenez da Silva was baptized and officiated as the first king of the Catholic Kingdom of Sika in 1608. Now it all makes sense how the church architecture has an European Renaissance Baroque style mixed with the local Sika culture. As much as 360 teaks came all the way from Java's forest to build this 47-meter long and 12-meter wide church. The construction of the church are mostly made out of wood from the foundation to the ceiling. Even so, the church is strong enough to withstand the tsunami that hit the area in 1992. There are 36 wooden windows without glass on each side of the church building. And at the top, there are 48 smaller windows with a dull yellow tint. The broken stained glass window, though, cannot be replaced since no one can make that anymore here. All over the walls of the church are painted Wende motifs, which are the typical motifs of Sika woven fabric. The motif has existed since the church was first used for Christmas Eve Mass on December 24, 1899, and has been preserved to this day. On the altar, there is a special woven motif shaped like a rhombus that symbolized the king.
Tapi sekarang, Ibu, kita tidak ada lagi kelas raja, kelas apa semua, sehingga bisa saja setiap orang membuat motif macam ini, mereka boleh pakai.
The church was renovated 3 times in 1935, 1953 and 1999, and currently is enlisted as a cultural heritage building. Let's get physical because we're going to climb the mountain and hit the beach. It's not in geographical order, but let me tell you the story of the mountain first. Yes, it's the Kalimutu Lake crater. The exact location is at Kokka Village in the Wolowaru sub-district and is about 66 kilometers from the town of Ende. For a closer route, try to go to Kalimutu through Moni. The distance from Moni to Kalimutu is only 15 kilometers. Why is it so important to take the fastest route? Because you'd want to start your trekking as early as 4 in the morning to catch the sunrise. Personally, I don't have the kind of strength, so I started a bit late, in 5 in the morning instead.
Ugh, it's quite cold.
As I walk further, there is another gazing point where you can overlook the forest surrounding the mountain.
Look at that. I never know that trekking could be this rewarding. I mean, wow, look at all this view. It's brilliant.
Pine forest grows well in this side of Kalimutu mountain. Other than pines, there are also casuarinas, redwood, and edelweiss. The local community believes that Kalimutu mountain is sacred and donates fertility to the nature nearby. That's why on the track you'll find some relief on Ende's tribe, since it's inseparable. After all, the tagline of the mountain is Mystical Kalimutu. The steps leading up to the top are not too steep, but the pebbles can be quite slippery if you're wearing the wrong type of footwear. Finally reached the top!
Crater Lake. Ooh, I see one. Where's the other? So maybe I have to climb again.
But when I'm about to climb up,
What are you doing? Tasha, your friend is here.
Hai. Aku takut sebenarnya
Hai.
kamu. Kamu jangan sini ya. Ada banyak barang. So, go away. Go away, monkey.
don't be fooled by their cute face, because what happens next is as real as it gets.
Hey! Hey, hey, get out of there!
Yep, that little rascal took our cameraman's fanny pack and basically scavenging through the pocket looking for food. Whew, that was pretty crazy. Okay, now let's forget about that incident. Let me clear your mind with the beautiful scenery of the crater lake. Ooh. That's better, yeah?
Woohoo! Here we are at the top of Kalimutu, where we can gaze at 3 different colors of Crater Lake. And before I'm going to talk to you about the colors of Crater Lake, I have to tell you that people here, they believe that the craters, they are a place for the departed souls. So each color, they represent a different kind of soul that lays in it. For instance, the red one, it represented bad people. Meanwhile, the blue one, it represented young people, although both of them are blue. But I don't know, does that mean no more bad people around? Or no more bad soul? I don't know. And then the black one, it represented the soul of the ancestor, or generally the elderly people. Throughout times, the craters, they have changes for about 44 times. Scientifically speaking, the changes, it has something to do with the mineral that contains inside the crater, driven by the oxidation reduction chemical dynamics. Do you think I know what that means? I don't. Don't ask me.
Do you want something refreshing, somewhere even quieter while you can look upon the stars? I have just a place for you. From Moni, you can drive around 1.5 hours to a heart-shaped beach called Kokka Beach at Olola Village, Saga District. Beach is quite secluded, somewhat hidden behind the hills that surrounds it. Pristine, stunning coastline covered with white sand and surrounded by a coral cliff overgrown with tropical greenery. It's a piece of paradise on earth. Roja Hill and Ende Hill span on the west and east wings of the coastline. On Roja Hill stood a 50 to 100 meter steep cliff right on the shore, and below it there's a rock cave called Liawio with a depth about 500 meters facing the north of Flores mainland. You can't always see the cave though, because it can only be explored during the low tide. What can you do then when you're in Kokka? You can turn off your phone since you won't get any reception anyway, and feel the super soft sand on your feet. Much like any other southern sea, the wave here is strong. With a strong wind, wave at sea can reach a height of 1.5 meters, which of course will appeal to surfer. I don't know how to surf, and as tempting as the clear blue water appear right now, I don't feel like swimming either. I prefer to run. Run as free as the wind. Oh, I feel like Rocky trained by Apollo Creed on Apollo 3. What? It's a classic. I choose to come down here on late afternoon to catch the sunset. Now, if you want to stop the time, take a deep breath and be mindful, relishing the silence in between. There's even a saying that said, time wasted on a beach is a time well spent. Bring us to the end of our journey at the town of Ende. Ende is the seat capital of Ende Regency. From Maumere to Ende, if you're not stopping, could take around 4 hours by car. For many decades, Ende has been a center of government, trade, education and political activities. And this place became the birthplace of Indonesia's philosophical state, the Pancasila. It all began with this house on Perwira Street in Ende.
And this is the house where Sukarno and his family was exiled again by the Dutch in 1934. He was exiled here for 4 years, but it turned out those 4 years, quoted from his book, was his most prolific year. He learned a lot here in Ende, especially when it comes to inclusivity and also tolerance.
He was exiled from 1934 to 1938 on account of his political activities that were deemed as a threat to a Dutch East Indies government. This Dutch architectural style house was owned by Abdullah Ambuaru. But Sukarno is Sukarno. His mind known no rest. He did not take this exile laying down.
Not only he contemplates a lot about Indonesian politics, but he also still maintained that artistic side of him.
Sukarno wrote a dozen plays. Among the plays were Dr. Satan, a revision of the story of Dr. Frankenstein. He also founded the Tonil Club Kalimutu, which involves locals in the production that will perform in the Immaculata building. Most of the displays are furniture and household equipment Sukarno's owned and used.
This breadfruit tree was Sukarno's favorite place to contemplate, thinking about the foundational philosophy theory of Indonesia, which now we know it as Pancasila. Sukarno's philosophy was fundamentally an amalgamation of monotheism, nationalism, and also socialism.
As a multicultural nation, Sukarno believed that state ideology should encompass and unite all spectrum of Indonesian society. These principles are enshrined in the Pancasila, and based on these principles, Indonesia's national motto became Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, meaning we are many, but we are one. Today, the birth of Pancasila is commemorated every year on the 1st of June, which is also a national holiday. Moving on, now we are on our way to a traditional village named Saga Village. Saga Traditional Village is settled at the Tusuko district, 25 kilometers away from the town of Ende. Ooh, the sight on our way there is pretty spectacular. We are welcomed by a bunch of elementary school kids at a hill around 10 meters away from the housing area.
Selamat datang di Kampung Saga.
In Ende, the traditional music is called ngolamba. Ngo means gong and lamba is gendang or drum. Ngolamba is performed almost on every traditional ceremony. The differences are the dance. This one they are performing right now is a welcoming dance.
Saga Village has been around for estimated 700 years. And up until now, the villagers, they're still maintaining the tradition of farming. This season is corn season, so I want to check out what the farmers are doing.
In monsoon season, corn is the best crop to grow. Rain is important, and the lack of it during a crop's growing season can have damaging effects. Apart from corn, they also grow cloves, coffee, and candlenut at the nearby forest. In their beliefs, this geographical advantage influenced the ancestral rules which excludes them from weaving. Then I get to climb up to see the traditional house.
Oh, look at this beautiful village. To know more about the Saga Village, obviously I have to talk to the chief of the village. Here we call him Mosalaki. So, follow me. Hi.
Hi.
His name is Maximus Wolo, the Mosalaki of Wolo clan. For a welcoming drink, there's moke, of course. Then we can have a talk.
Do you guys still live here?
Since 1992, actually, we got a very, very big airport, actually. And then at the same time came government, NGO. They really care about the people. And they said, better rebuild your house in the flat area down there, small better. That's why most of the people now move down. When you ask me, we still live here? Honestly, we still live it. But we use it when we do the ritual. In a year, we have a lot of ritual.
The remaining house is less than 20 due to the severe damage from the earthquake. And if you wonder, are those women's breasts? You're totally correct. The breast carving is penneria. Those symbolize fertility, usually can be found around the entrance of the house. Across from the house, there's a stack of stones called Watu Nilu.
So Sarah,
Yeah?
this is the grave belongs to our family since more than 700 years ago. When you ask me how many people already been this place, we cannot count it.
Too many. But how did you guys do it? This is interesting.
You know, it's too small.
Yeah.
So you're smart.
Do you want to know more about the house or perhaps the ritual they perform? Come down here in September. Mosalaki Maxi would host you kindly. What a dramatic adventure that was. The setting, the happenstance, and that was just a tiny little piece of Flores. There are more and more places and people await on our next voyage. Which part of Flores do you want to see next?